Hey everybody, welcome back to the Hard Times Strongman Podcast. This is 6. I'm here with 7. Today we're here with another Dadisode. This time we are touching on relationships. And when I say relationships, we're getting into the nuances here. We're talking about understanding your significant other through the 5 love languages. This may sound like sissy stuff, but I tell you, when I say that this will save your relationship, it will save your relationship. Because people
This is something that everybody should know. So
agreed.
I'd say, if this is a Dadisode. If you're a dad, for one, you should know, but two, you should be teaching your kids about the 5 love languages, about the Enneagram. Just think, these are things that are so, like, these are such good tools just for
Right.
learning how to communicate and how to interact with other people.
When we're talking about
and the introspection, knowing yourself.
right. And when we talk about love language, we're referring to the way that a person prefers to express love to or receive it from their partner. And
Right. We're pulling, so our references today, we're pulling from The 5 Love Languages, The Secret to Love That Lasts by Gary Chapman. I also threw in a reference for a love language quiz.
Yeah.
For you, for your family, for your, your partner, what have you.
I'm going to stress this. Just because you feel love a certain way, whether it be from words of affirmation, acts of service, receiving gifts, quality time, or physical touch, your partner may feel it completely different way. Their love
They most
languages
likely will not feel the same way you will.
correct. It is essentially like something falling on deaf ears if your love languages do not mesh up, and it's okay if they don't. It's perfectly fine if they don't. The key though is understanding yours, and more importantly, understanding your partner's.
Mm-hmm. So when I was first learning about the love languages, I I was engaged to my wife at the time, and I thought I was doing so good. I
Mm-hmm.
thought I was doing so good because I was like tailoring everything I did to my love languages, like for her. And my my mother-in-law was like, "Hey, buddy, what you doing?" Because we were having we were having a spiff,
Mm-hmm.
and I felt like I don't know what I'm doing. Like I'm trying to I'm trying to like do this and that, and she's like, "Yeah, but that's your love languages. Those aren't hers." And
Ooh.
it was like absolutely
Boom.
blew my mind. I was like, "Oh crap."
Yeah.
And which sounds really silly, right? It sounds really really self-centered, but that was completely mind-blowing.
Honestly,
And this is the kind of
honestly
thing
though,
that will absolutely change how you relate to other people
and
when you can tailor your love and affection to and so that language can get confusing,
mhm,
right? We're not being fake. We're not, putting on faces or facades or whatever. You are trying to meet people where they're at and
right.
love them in the best way that they receive love. That is what we're talking about here.
And I guarantee you every man has gone through that, because we can't think okay, so our brain is hardwired to not really think far ahead into the future or really outside of what's going on immediately around us, and more importantly to us. We have a hard time thinking about other people. That's okay. That's how we've been hardwired through generations and generations. And if you're trying to
Yep.
change that,
So the Western man is supposed to die in his mid-20s in a land war in Europe.
mhm,
He can't think that far ahead,
right.
right?
I
No,
know.
but I mean, just like,
Yeah.
but that is instinctually how how we are. Is we the men now? Yeah, yes, as with the wisdom of age, right? We will naturally
Oh
look
yeah.
farther and farther ahead. But in our courting years, it's just it's a just a part of the testimony for
Right.
men. It's just a hard time
It
for a
is.
little while.
It is.
So
It
the
is
quicker
very
we can
rough.
curve that, the happier we'll be.
And if you end up going through counseling, which I actually do recommend for honestly even relationships, go to counseling, go to couples counseling, go to marriage counseling. It doesn't matter. because you're going to learn essentially the same way. And it's going to be how to interact with each other. And more importantly, how to communicate. Communication is the killer, in my opinion, of probably 98% of relationships that fail. It's communication. It's not people cheating, it's freaking communication.
Well, you have to think, okay, so interpersonal communication, incredibly important. That's, we're social creatures, right?
Hmm.
All a relationship is the closest interpersonal relationship that you'll have.
Right.
That's all it is. So
Yeah.
if you can't adequately or excellently, would be the goal, right? Communicate, then you're naturally going to run into friction points, to run into conflict. So, but kicking into it, the 5 love languages. So we're talking about words of affirmation, acts of service, receiving gifts, quality time, and physical touch.
Okay. So let's start with words of affirmation. Words of affirmation are nothing more than words that communicate your love, appreciation, and respect for another person. They're positive words or phrases that are used to just uplift someone. What's more, these compliments, words of encouragements, don't have to be said directly to the person. You could say these to other people who then talk to that person and say, "Hey, this person has been, singing your praises to me. Have your ears been burning? Like we've been talking good about you."
Or just backing somebody up.
Right.
Is so not even, just trying to talk them up, but be like, hey, so like if we have spit with somebody and, they were complaining to me, it's like, no, that's not Six's character.
Right.
That's not who he is. He's this, and this, like you said, speaking in the affirmative, speaking positively,
Yeah. It,
those kinds of words of affirmation. So for me, it's like, I see you. So I tell
mhm.
my wife all the time, because one of her love languages is words of affirmation. Like, hey, I see all the work that you're doing. Thank you so much. I know that takes so much time. I know that takes so much headspace. I know it's so hard with the kids. I love you. This is excellent. I love this. Thank you. She needs to hear that.
Right.
She needs to hear that. She needs to hear the I love you. I see you. I see what you're doing. I know this. And she needs that all laid out. And it's not gratuitous, but it's how she best receives love,
Right.
right? She needs to hear that.
And these aren't here to just your way through things. Like that's not what they're here for. These are like actually for relationship building. And along those lines, these can also be used outside of your actual relationship. These can be used with friends, like not in like the love context, but like
Mhm.
they're just used to
There are
build
many different
relationship.
kinds of love.
Right. Who like okay, so say me to seven, like I just I just freaking bought and sent him a freaking sourdough cookbook. Like that's a gift. That's one of the love languages. It may not be his, but at the same time, it's just like that's also an act of service. That's also
I
like
was going to say it's an act of service. Yeah.
right. Like I'm doing something for him, you know?
Hmm. Well, it's a way. So you can love your coworker. You can love your child. You can love a parent. You can love your spouse.
Right.
There are different kinds of love, but so something that crosses a lot. Love thy neighbor. Okay,
Exactly. Thank
think
you.
about it that way. It's so love is taking care of people.
Right.
Okay, there are different levels, there are different ways, but that's what we're talking about here.
Right.
And for me, like you said, the important thing to think about with this, regardless of the relationship that you're utilizing this in, is that it must be genuine.
Correct.
It must be genuine for it to have the desired effect.
Correct.
Because it's not for you. It's good to know yours, so you can know like what to ask for and what to, how to better tailor relationships. It's good to know for any relationship you have, so you can better tailor for the person, but it's for the other person. That's
Right.
the big thing.
Exactly.
So, second one, acts of service. Acts of service is the language that can best be described as doing something for the receiver, for the partner that they would like filling up their gas tank, watering the plants, cooking them a meal, doing the dishes, folding the laundry. When you're giving
Conquering the
an
Roman
act of
Empire.
service, you're giving your time. What? What
Conquering
do
the
you
Roman
say?
Empire.
Conquer the Roman Empire, burn down the local IRS building. You're giving your time, right? You're doing something for, it is, you know, it's the service role. You're making yourself
Mhm.
of service. That is such a huge thing for
Yeah,
people.
this is the
And
concept of action speaking louder than words.
on the flip side of that, something that I had to learn is people value being able to be of service. So not denying someone the chance to serve you.
Right,
That's huge.
right.
So like you said, actions speak louder than words. Huge.
Yep. Next on that is the flip side of acts of service, receiving gifts. So, receiving gifts specifically refers to people who either feel loved or express love the best when their partners and loved ones give them something thoughtful. It can be either tangible or intangible. The emphasis on this is not so much on the item itself, but more so on the symbolic meaning behind it, i.e., the thought that goes into it. Hey, I was at the store, I saw something, it reminded me of you, I got this for you. That's literally all it takes. It could be even as
Hey, I know
simple
you like
as,
rocks. Here's a cool
yes,
rock.
yeah, yeah, go
I wrote
lick
you a
it.
note. That's a really simple one. Writing
Yes,
just on a sticky note for your loved
I was
one.
I was gonna
Huge.
say that. I was gonna say that. Like there are so there's a show on HGTV, Hometown. So stars Ben and Aaron Napier, and I think from what I've read, every morning Ben writes a handwritten note for his wife Erin and leaves it for her. That's that's an act of service. That's a gift. Like he's hitting
That's
two things right
huge.
there. Not to mention he's pouring his heart out
Quality
into these
time.
notes. Exactly.
So granted, that's not like one-on-one quality time, but
No,
that is time that he's
it is
taking
time.
out to do that.
Hmm.
Huge. On the flip side of that one, giving gifts.
Yes.
So that's a way that I love people. I love giving gifts.
You and my wife
I love it, man. It's so much fun. No, but like, oh, have you ever like just like
found that
found a
perfect one.
perfect thing for somebody? Oh,
Hmm.
dude, there's nothing better. Yeah.
My wife
Anyways,
lives for that. My wife lives for that. She
yes.
loves to make a perfect gift basket for people. Loves
Yeah.
to.
But I have such a hard time receiving gifts.
Yeah.
I have a really hard time receiving gifts, but I love giving things away. I love giving. So it's like these are really like it seems simple, but these
Hmm.
things are complicated. Um, next one, quality time. So you're showing your love and affection by spending dedicated one-on-one, undivided time with somebody. It's your undivided attention. So
This,
this is being together.
yeah.
Doesn't matter what you're doing, but it is, hey, I am with you, therefore I am whole. Here we are.
And
That's quality time.
and outside of your marriage or your relationship with someone, this could be bro time. This could be a girls' night. Whatever it is, like spending time. It's literally as simple as spending time together with someone, not sitting there on your phones, watching TV, not paying attention to each other. It's like actually like connecting, it's actually like, hey, what's up, man? What have you been up to? What's been going on in your mind? Hey, how was work? Oh,
Yeah.
you had a bad time at work. Tell me about it. Tell me about your
Well,
day.
and exactly. Well, this is like, man, I don't know a thing about cars, but I will sit with you under your truck for 3 hours while you fix it,
Yeah,
just because I want to be with my buddy.
yeah.
Like that is quality time.
Like, hell, let's go to the
You know
range.
what?
Let's go to the
Y'all
range
can think of? Yeah, I was gonna say, we used to go to the range every freaking Saturday. Spend
every
half the day there.
Saturday. You could
But
find us out at the range.
yeah, but I was thinking while I was growing up, me, my dad, my cousin would go fishing. We hardly ever caught anything, but I mean, you're talking about a whole day where you're just sitting there, you're shooting the shoot and hanging out. Quality
Fishing
time.
fishing is hands down the best example of quality time because I don't give two craps about catching fish, but I get to spend time with
It's not
somebody. I'll
about
go
that.
fishing.
Yeah,
I actually hate fishing, but I get to sit there, spend time with a buddy. If we're sitting there talking, great. If we're sitting there in silence, I'm hating my life.
But I mean, that's what it is, though. I mean, it's just enough, like motor movement and like processing to not be bored. But you're there for your either your quiet time on your own or hang out with your buddy.
Right. And another example of that is taking your wife or girlfriend or husband or boyfriend out on a date, staying
Oh
off your
man,
phone, just sitting there enjoying the moment together. God,
watching a
some
show.
oh yeah, some of the best nights that I can remember have been quite honestly just playing games with my wife. We sit there and we play
Yeah.
like Hunt a Killer or similar games. Oh hey, what'd you glean from this? Here's some evidence. It's
Hmm.
cool. Other times going out on a simple date with my wife. Like we're married, we still date. I love it.
You
It's
have to. You
yeah.
have to. All right, guys. And last one, physical touch. So expressing and receiving affection through physical touch, closeness, and other forms of physical connection. So, kissing, hugging, holding hands, sex, they're all ways of showing love through physical touch. So, I
This is pretty
annoy the crap out.
self-explanatory,
I annoy the crap out of my wife. My love language is far and away physical touch.
Mhm.
So, my poor wife has been with my two just savages that are under 5 years old all day, and when I get home, I just have to be touching her
Mhm.
somehow, a shoulder, a hand, a hip, something. And that's just how I talk to her. That's how and she gets so overstimulated so quickly. I feel so bad for her. I'm like, I don't know how
Right.
not to. I'm sorry. I'm like a golden retriever. Like, I don't know what to tell you, man.
I can't emphasize enough how much understanding your partner's and your own, love language will enhance your communication.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
You I can guarantee you, if you know these things, you're going to see a drastic reduction in misunderstandings and conflicts. Couple that with go out and look up Gottman theory. Gottman theory
Mm.
has probably one of the most revolutionary and successful ways of dealing with conflict in a relationship. Like it tells you step by step. And we're gonna have an episode on this too, because I went through it with a therapist who is very well versed in Gottman theory. And he literally laid out step by step what you should be doing. And I noticed that my relationship, while we would argue almost constantly, well, not really constantly, but like a lot, it went to almost zero. And when we did argue, we were just like, we navigated our way straight out of that
It's
so
productive,
quickly.
right?
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, it's fighting fair. And we're gonna have an episode on that too,
Hmm.
probably. We're here to help you in every aspect of your relationship. Yeah, the mingling of
Yeah,
souls.
the Enneagram, that is one I can't wait to talk about, because
Yeah.
just relating to people and to yourself. I mean, it's so incredibly important. Something else with the five love languages, besides reducing fights, misunderstanding, conflicts, besides having that increased communication, being able to more accurately and more deeply love somebody. Yeah,
Oh
it's
my
such a
gosh.
cool thing. It's such a cool
Is
tool knowing that something is going to impact them at a deeper level, and you'll be able to to be able to tailor your love to somebody and know that it's more impactful. It's so huge, man. It's
mm-hmm.
awesome.
Yeah. It's I did notice that too. Like once I learned Gottman or got familiar with Gottman's theory and learned the five love languages and what my wife's love language was, I actually noticed myself falling even more in love with her. It's kind of
Mm,
crazy.
yeah, and you're just getting deeper and deeper together.
Yeah, it's
Like I
strengthening the
said, the
emotional
mingling of
connection.
souls.
Yeah,
You
it's
know,
it's amazing.
it's such a
Oh,
huge thing.
so let's move on. Like you said earlier, we're going to include a link to a quiz where you can identify your love language and you can have your partner take it and identify their love language. And
Hmm.
the important thing there is just the self awareness and reflection
Right?
on
Yeah.
what your love languages are, what your partner's love languages are, how that impacts you, how that impacts them, and what it actually means. Like, don't just be like, okay, it's this, it's this. Like, look into it. Really understand what it means. Because, okay, cool. You can check the box if your partner's love language is receiving gifts. You can go out and, I don't know, buy them a $3,000 purse. You're checking a box. Doesn't mean crap, you know, unless you went and
Mhm.
like tailored that gift. Handwritten note, like you said earlier, is a perfect way of doing it. I know my wife's love language, one of them is receiving gifts, and she loves receiving notes. So anytime I can think of it, I'm writing her a note and I'm leaving it a sticky note and leaving it on a door. And I can't tell you when I get that text in the morning, she thanks me because that made her morning. It started her morning off great.
Hey guys, this is Six and Seven. We want to take a break from the episode to tell you a little bit about our sponsor, Blackbeard Fire Starters.
We've had Blackbeard Firestarter in our kit for years. Ever since they came out with the Firestarter rope, which was seemingly powered by black magic. It was waterproof, it was windproof, it just worked.
And since then, nothing's changed. In fact, they've gone even better. They added their fire plugs, they started selling waterproof matches, ferro rod, arc lighters. They're, we can't say anything now, but they're continuing to grow. And I feel like they're only going to get better with age. And on top of sponsoring the show, keeping the lights on for us, they're also offering a 15% discount on anything in their store if you use code STRONGMEN.
Head on over to their website at blackbeardfire.com. You can check out their entire inventory and see what works best for you. And like we said, at checkout, use code STRONGMEN, one word, to get 15% off your order.
Thanks, guys. Now back to the episode. Yeah. So my wife, words of affirmation, acts of service, quality time.
Mm-hmm.
So being more intentional and more specific with my wording.
Mm-hmm.
So I can see, a dozen things that she's done by the time I get home. If I don't tell her, then it doesn't have the same impact as me, talking about it a week or a month later.
Right.
In the moment, being intentional, to be, specifically talk about things,
Mm-hmm.
it really touches her, right? And quality time, it doesn't matter what we're doing. She wants to be with me.
Exactly.
I'm her husband.
It
So,
literally doesn't matter. It's just
finding
spending
things to
time.
do, even if I don't, even if I don't specifically like to do the thing, right? It's not for me.
Right.
It's for her.
Right.
So, and not being, gone away on my phone or thinking about taxes or, whatever, being present, and giving her that undivided attention. It's the biggest thing.
Yep.
So to recap, our 5 love languages, we have words of affirmation, acts of service, receiving gifts, quality time, and physical touch.
Go
Have
take
any
the
last
quiz.
thoughts?
Yeah. Go take the quiz yourself. Have your partner take it. Figure out each other. Figure out what your love languages are. Practice this. Actually go through it and do it. You will see a drastic reduction in conflict. You will see like so many of your problems just melt away, and you're going to figure out a way to love your partner more. I almost guarantee it.
Well said. Yeah. I mean, for me, at the end of the day, it's just a way, it's just another tool for you to be able to love someone more.
Yeah. Yeah.
So incredibly important.
It is.
But before we go, dad joke.
Oh, God dang it.
You thought I forgot. I didn't forget. And now
I
you look
actually
stupid.
forgot. I know. I used to be a banker, but I lost interest.
That's nothing, man. I used to be addicted to soap. I'm clean now.
What kind of bug can tell time? Cockroach. Dogs can't operate MRI machines, but cats can.
That's inaccurate and stupid. Oh, gosh.
Why did the roofer
What do you
go to
call
the
it?
doctor? Why did the roofer go
Why?
to the doctor? He had shingles.
Oh gosh. What do you call a belt made out of watches?
You got me.
A waste of time.
Oh, that's so bad. Oh, that's so bad. Mm.
Last one.
Why didn't the son go to college?
Why?
It already had 1,000,000 degrees.
What did the buffalo say to his boy going off to college?
Oh, I know this one. Go for it.
Bye, son.
Did you hear about the guy who drank invisible ink? He's at the
No.
hospital. He's at the hospital waiting to be seen.
You know what? Shout out to my fingers. I can count on all of them. Guys, we are the Hard Time Strongman podcast. Jerry of a Bear Class Man with another Dadisode for you on the 5 love languages. Get out there, love somebody, and stay in the fight.
Stay in the fight. Check out our Discord, where we talk about all of the topics that we talk about in our conversations, but in deep dive format. We have a lot of members on there of varying skill sets, of varying proficiencies, all talking about all these topics, sharing their experiences. So join today and help us expand our knowledge base.
And check out our Patreon. Our Patreon, outside of just backing up all of our episodes for when we eventually get canceled, our patrons get access to our exclusive episodes, our pre-shows, our post-shows, our little tidbits here and there that we aren't really supposed to talk about. We're also opening up all of these exclusive episodes for people to individually purchase. So you don't have to get tied into a tier in order to get all that content. You can dip your toes in a little bit, decide you like it, then come and join us on that. We're having exclusive conversations, and along with the Discord, we are just building that community, building that skill set, that mastery, these proficiencies. And this, outside of our sponsor, is what's keeping the lights on and keeping all of this information, all these classes rolling for you guys. So make sure to check out our Patreon. And one last thing, guys, the world is better with you in it. If you're feeling suicidal or if you're in crisis, dial 988 or reach out at 988lifeline.org to get help. Someone's always on the line. So if you need a lifeline, remember 988. Stay in the fight.
Stay in the fight.